And our word for today on this memorial of St. John Bosco, Friday, January the 31st, our word for today is endurance, taken from St. Paul's letter to the Hebrews, chapter 10. You need endurance to do the will of God and receive what he has promised. Well, a man of great endurance is the one that we celebrate today, St. John Bosco, and I'd like to share quickly a vision that he had and shared during his lifetime. Picture yourselves with me on an outlying cliff with no other land in sight. The vast expanse of water is covered with a formidable array of ships in battle formation, all heavily armed with cannons, bombs, firearms of all sort, and are heading toward one stately ship mightier than them all. As they try to close in, they try to ram it, set it afire, and cripple it as much as possible. This stately vessel is shielded by a flotilla escort. Winds and waves are with the enemy. In the midst of this endless sea, two solid columns, a short distance apart, soar high into the sky. One is surmounted by a statue of the Virgin Mary, which sits upon it. The other, far loftier and sturdier, supports our Lord in the Eucharist. The flagship commander, the Pope, seeing the enemy's fury and his auxiliary ship's very grave predicament, summons his captains to a conference. However, as they discuss their strategy, a furious storm breaks out and they must return to their ships. When the storm abates, the Pope again summons his captains as the flagship keeps on its course, but the storm rages again. Standing at the helm, the Pope strains every muscle to steer his ship between the two columns, from whose summit hang many anchors and strong hooks linked to chains. The entire enemy fleet closes in to intercept and sink the flagship at all costs, doing all they can to stop it from passing between the two pillars. They bombard it with everything they have. The battle rages ever more furious. Beaked prows ram the flagship again and again, but to no avail. And as unscathed and undaunted, it keeps on its course again to make its way between the two columns. At times, a formidable ram splinters a gaping hole into its hull, but immediately a breeze from the two columns instantly seals the gash. Meanwhile, every cannon's blow, firearms, and breeks falls to pieces. Ships crack up and sink to the bottom. In blind fury, the enemy takes to hand combat, cursing and blaspheming. Suddenly, the Pope falls, seriously wounded. He's instantly helped up, but struck down a second time, he dies. A shout of victory rises from the enemy, and wild rejoicing sweeps their ships. But no sooner is the Pope dead than another one takes his place. Breaking through all resistance, the new Pope steers his ship safely between the two columns and moors it to the two columns, first to the one surmounted by the host, and then to the other topped by the statue of the Virgin Mary. So his ships that are in formation protecting him join him as they attach themselves to these two columns. Then the enemy ships turn on one another and sink one another in absolute defeat and confusion. Brothers and sisters, the ship is the Catholic Church. The ship is captained in this vision by St. John Bosco, by the Pope, by one, then by another, always having at its helm the Pope, safely guiding it between the Eucharist and Our Lady, always protecting it from both sides. We are on that ship, brothers and sisters. We are on the bark of Peter. Let us remain safely ensconced between it, always on that ship, making our way safely home, enduring everything that we might find safe passage only on this particular ship. Endurance, our word for today.